Hello and welcome to another Parkinson's Walks vlog. In a minute we'll be looking back at matters arising from the last two films. However, if you tuned in just to watch the Kingham film, then jump forward 15-20 minutes and it'll be there waiting for you. The rest of us are going to dissect the film to see if we can learn something or get some amusement. Let's have a look, see what we got. The first film was a visit to Notgrove Station, which is on the Cheltenham to Banbury Direct Railway, or was, and is now a camping site. Anyway, we had a nice look round there and see what we could find. And Marilyn was first out the blocks this week. And Marilyn says, "I always wondered where the village of Notgrove actually was, having driven past the station many times." Yeah, we had some spare time on our hands, so we went and filmed the village as well while we were at it. So I wonder what their annual passenger numbers were like. Yeah, well, I suppose even if it was a very busy station, doesn't mean the line would still have survived, does it? Yeah, I tend to feel it's more farmers moving produce than passengers. It's a bit far out for that. Anyway, Marilyn, who of course is our elder sister on the virtual Parkinson's Walks family, and she's always getting into trouble, is Marilyn. And she goes and says, "I was kept out of trouble this week." What? Then she goes on to explain, "Mainly because I hadn't been out, having fallen backwards during the night and hurting my back." Marilyn, how'd you do it? She wants to know if anybody's got a spare back. She'll swap. Once she can get out, she says. I have several places in mind. She's a great explorer, is Marilyn, on the railways. I've got several places in mind, she says, but I still haven't explored. See you next week and keep out of trouble. What? Not me with a bad back, Marilyn. Right, engage on a shelf, our Simon. So getting on very well with his layout at the moment, racing along. Those old black and white photos, he says, brings it all to life again. It's funny how sparse things look. Lack of trees and all the bridges are visible. Yeah, that's the thing with the old railways, isn't it? When you look at an old railway film, it's always amazing how much the vegetation's kept back. I suppose in those days that was to avoid the fire risk from the old steam engines. Yeah. So Simon says, "I don't think we need to worry about the world when we're all gone. It would just reclaim itself and brush the human race under the carpet as if we were never here." Blimey, Simon getting philosophical on us. Yeah, true. Abandoned railways then, our run. He said, "Excellent and entertaining chat from the Parkinsons family." Yes, that's you guys. Brilliant. Oh, hang back, don't go away. Oh, that'll be alright. Where were we? Right. So Ron was talking about the excellent and entertaining chat from the Parkinson's family. "Thanks for Notgrove," he says. "A timely reminder for me to revisit." Because of course Ron's got his own channel, Abandoned Railways, and he's so tenacious in the visits that he does. My goodness me. You follow Ron's trail, and how he gets through some of these places I'd never know. Sometimes you wish you wouldn't. Yeah, you wish you'd turn around and go back, because it looks a little bit dodgy on our Ron. Anyway, he says, "Thanks for Notgrove. A timely reminder for me to revisit. I called in January 24, but the builders were in reflashing the chimneys, and the owners were in lockdown with COVID." Do you remember lockdown? Seems a distant past now, doesn't it? Yeah. Malcolm Richardson. Its railway has come and gone, leaving tranquil Notgrove to slumber on. Oh, lovely. Poetic there, Malcolm. Beautiful. David from Spain then. He's been over here to visit his mum. Said, "One run. Had a great few days with Mum. Showed her one of my videos where you got a mention. Well, a dedication," he says. "We often talk about you in your channel. Now it's become an extension of the family. What a privilege." Yeah, well, we're all one big family on Parkinson's Walks. Everybody join in. And yesterday, it says, we were touching 30 degrees centigrade. Wow. But a storm system is sweeping the country and it's distinctly cold and may even snow on the high mountains. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Here we are all talking in different parts of the world and seeing how we're all getting on and facing these conditions. It's amazing, amazing. Michael Miller, this one. Thanks for that lovely tour, Notgrove, he said. It's one of my books on closed stations. I've got a picture of the Notgrove Station in the 1950s. Now I'll have to look it up. Piqued your interest there, have we, Michael? Good. West Country Wanderings, our Paul. He has been wandering too, hasn't he? He's doing a bit of a news roundup here. Sorry to hear about Michael's dog passing away. Great to hear about Ron from Abandoned Railways who's beaten cancer and exploring. Good to see him back on YouTube again. It's fascinating to see what Notgrove was like. I don't think I've ever been there, blimey. There aren't many places Paul hasn't been to. That's one of them. Good. Michael from Poland. How kind are the caravan site owners giving you permission to scout around. Yeah, they were nice people. The pictures of days gone by certainly show what Notgrove Station and its surroundings used to look like. You wouldn't recognise it, would you? He says, sadly now there's very little left. Here in Poland the weather has been quite cold and dull for May, which is unusual apparently from over there. Michael normally gets water or sunshine. Well, we had a spell of that. Yeah. Oh well, hopefully. Here in Poland the weather has been quite cold and dull for May. Mags hasn't mentioned anything about bikes so far. Yes, the threat of a bike is hanging over Michael. Perhaps her idea disappeared. And knowing Mags, I doubt it. Only time will tell. Don't mention the bike. Jim from New Zealand. He said, if it's not a grove, then what is it? A delightful area, he says. Carry on the good work. Will do. Charles from the US of A. Notgrove looks to be a pretty little farming town, he said. Not even big enough to have a general store. Unless I blinked and missed it. No, you didn't. No, it's just one of those sort of places. Right, on to last week's film, which was Colwall, which we'll revisit following the instructions of one of our contributors, or trying to follow the instructions of. There's a strange coincidence in the middle of it, I have to say. Michael, again from Poland, says that was brilliant. A million thanks to Eddie and Helen for their super guided tour. Yes, I think we're all echoing that on here. Malcolm Richardson says, a marvellous stroke of luck. Your hunt looked rather strenuous in parts and obscured by undergrowth in others. Luckily meeting Helen and Eddie made your day and ours. Thank you and well done. Mission accomplished. Yeah, thank you Malcolm. Brilliant, yeah. I don't know whether to relate the story or I suppose keep quiet and ask you to go and look at the video if you don't know what we're all talking about with Eddie and Helen. Go and watch the video. Donnie says, what a treat to synchronistically meet someone that has an awareness of his surroundings and an enthusiastic nature. Rare breed these days. Yes, very true, Donnie, very true. Abandoned Railways then, our Ron. A wonderful mysterious adventure, he said. I enjoyed every minute of this one. A style on the gate is a new one on me too. Yeah, did you see that style on the gate? Never seen that before. Delightful scenery, an old orchard, and then you bump into Eddie and Helen. What a lovely couple. Then everything falls into place. He says it's classic adventuring and I love it. And I used to go to Swindon Speedway every Saturday back in the 60s and the 70s. Of course, Eddie mentioned that when he was talking about the guy that does the painting and the lining on locomotives, didn't he? Yeah, Swindon Robbins. Ah, right. Lee says, brilliant, Ron. Things happen for a reason and were meant to be. That's a bit deep, Lee. Paul, he says, I have to tell you, you brought back lots of memories for me because I used to work up there when it was called Bell Vale Packers. We used to do all of the fruit picking for Tesco's back in the 66 and 67. Did you, by gosh? That must have been a big order. As I said, that was when I was a lad of 16 years. A lad of 16 years, blimey. So this is a wonderful memory video for me, he says. Brilliant. Oh, we love stirring up memories. We really do. Right. Nick, good to see above ground, he says, around the tunnels. I see and use the one on an almost daily basis when travelling through Hereford. Yeah, there you go. You look out, you don't know what's there, now you do. Brilliant, thanks for posting, Nick. Duncan, one of your best yet, he reckons. A fine example of your famous gumshoeing. Failing, I think you mean. And nice to have some guest stars to help reveal the secrets of our industrial past. Yeah, true. Charles, America. That was absolutely marvellous of Eddie and Helen, he says, to provide a personal guided tour leading to the elusive Malvern Tunnel portal and all the sights along the way. They're definitely two of the kindest and friendliest people to run into, yeah. A pleasure, he says, to see them added to the Parkinsons family. Welcome, he says. Well done, Charles, yeah. I agree, 100%. David, Spain. He says, it certainly put a large smile on my face, which is good. Well, all of us, I'm sure, he says. It was certainly a good walk even before you met Eddie, although I really do think he should have left you a cold beer in that wayside fridge. Or, he says, a cheese and pickle sandwich. That used to be the staple on Parkinson's walks when we were out doing our walks. Lovely. Oh, right, over in Spain, the temperatures have shot up these last few days. Cordoba, which exits into the Atlantic, has reached 40 degrees centigrade. We've been up to about 35 degrees C. I don't know how you stand it, David. Goodness me, too hot for me. It's still May, he says, well, only just. And I can see a considerable amount of snow on the mountain tops, some of which is now filling our river and irrigating the fields. A river walk is due, I think. Well, be careful then, David, if it's flooding, be careful. And just to add to all the joy, it's the ITV, which is the equivalent of Spain's, Britain's MOT day for Neura's car. My nearest MOT station is 6 miles as the crow flies. Oh, blimey. Good luck with that then. Marilyn. Poor Marilyn resides in Cheshire, hiding up there, she is. She said, I had to watch this latest vlog twice. The second time with the help of side-by-side maps. Yeah, it's changed, hasn't it? It's changed so much visually. You just can't imagine what was there before, but it was there. Those wonderful tunnel shafts are massive, aren't they, she says. You'd need a camera on a very long stick to see over. I've been forced to keep out of trouble this week. I'll make a change. With my back, only venturing out for short distances locally. I have some rail vouchers to use, so I hope it won't be long. Be careful, Marilyn. We all keep echoing the same thing. You take no blind bit of notice. Now, Trev has his own document this week. Good old Trev, which he managed to send twice. Good old Trev. Evening, he says, thank you as always for today's video. You're welcome, Trev. You certainly had 1 in a million chance by meeting Helen and Eddie and getting a private guided tour of all things tunnel. Yeah, we're lucky. And then Trev goes on to explain, when it comes to my interest in railways, it's more about the infrastructure and abandoned remains that fire me up, rather than particular locomotives and rolling stock. I have to say, I lean that way myself, really. We'd love to hear, see and smell the locomotives going through. But when you can actually see a structure and you can see the individual bricks laid by a skilled brickie all those years ago, you kind of feel more of a connection, I think. Maybe that's just me. Well, me and Trev. You never know. Anyway, he says, as a consequence, the original abandoned Colwall tunnel has always fascinated me, And then he goes on, as Trev does, to describe everything about that tunnel, how it was built, why it was built, where it was built, everything you need to know about it. All the facts and figures there. Brilliant work as usual for Trev. And then he ends up by saying, well, that's about it for me for today, Ron. Oh, by the way, have I ever mentioned that I volunteer on the Pontypool and Benavon Railway? No, must have missed it. The tickets are very reasonably priced on the Pontypool and Benavon Railway. There are refreshments available too. There's an excellent shop on the Pontypool and Benavon Railway and has a large car park. Just in case you're unaware, he says, the Pontypool and Benavon Railway is a heritage railway that is very much worth a visit. Anyway, I won't go on about the Pontypool and Benavon Railway. I just mentioned it in case in the past I hadn't mentioned the railway before. That's because I said last week, Chev always gets a plug in. Oh dear. Indeed he has. Right, okay. In a few minutes then, our archive film this week is a return to Kingham, where there's, which is on the the Cheltenham to Banbury direct railway, and there was an interchange there with the main Oxford link, so it'll all be explained in the film. Anyway, that'll be on in a few minutes anyway. Then next week, well, strange one next week. It's another tunnel. I wish I could have done it justice, but anyway, I think I've done enough to make it of some interest, and we'll see what you've all got to say about it. So I'll see you down at a tunnel mouth next Friday. You'll need your walking boots, your virtual walking boots to go on this virtual walk. I'll see you down there, don't be late. Well, in our ramblings here following this old forgotten and abandoned railway line from Lansdowne Station, which went round to Andoversford, went down to Southampton, then turned up here, we've now reached Kingham, which was a destination of sorts, because this is where the main line is, still there today. So we'll actually see some live main line work. But the thing is, can we find anything of our old railway? Go and have a look. Kingham Station. It's nice to film something with rails on it for a change. But we're not interested in this bit, this is still the modern day. We're interested in it as it was. Used to be 4 platforms here. So on the left hand side platform 1, then you had 2 and 3, then a gap and you had platform 4. And that's where our railway came in and went out of. Whereas what you're looking at here is the main line which goes to Worcester, Evesham, and behind us to Oxford. We'll have a peek. Another view here where we can see all 4 platforms. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Nowadays that's all you've got. Crossing the bridge and looking behind us, you can see the railway line to Oxford, and our railway, if I can call it that, would have come in on the left hand side there, look, and then joined the rails farther up. Hopefully you can see here the full width of the bridge, when our line would have joined the Oxford line going up there. You can see 2 different approaches here to bridge building, look. The one nearest to us is our railway, and then you've got the one over there which is GWR. Our railway built out of brick, since been rendered for some reason. And then you've got the GWR tin one. Well, at least the tin one hasn't had any rectification done to it. Looking over there you can see where there would have been rails. Some very, very strong buttressing down here too. But the other side, absolutely nothing left at all. So let's go see what we can find in the station, if they'll let us. And immediately stuck in the side we find one of our old friends. And grotesquely stuck behind this shelter or barrier. We're standing on platform 1 then, and you're looking across there at platforms 2 and 3, and 4 would have been across another set of rails. If you look at the bridge, it's in 2 halves, and as we saw when we were at the top. So this is from here the right hand half, and then our bit is stuck in the trees. We'll see if we can see anything in a minute. Wow, there's the remains of an old lamp standard there. Might see that in one of the photos. Is that actually the lamp that we found the base of? I think it's quite possible. Looking down there would have been the signal box, loads of rails, the crossover for the direct route to Banbury, and a number of buildings. View back down the platforms, and a lot of the buildings and sidings were over there, look. Now a glorious car park. Keeping up the old tradition. Pause the video to read it. There's a distinctive feature just to there, which is the taper on the platform. We'll pop across and see if it's any clearer. But the platform tapered there to allow the line in from our Cheltenham branch. Used to be just a lattice work construction. Perfect from here, look, you can see the taper on the platform. Platforms 3 and 4, and here showing the curvature on the platform, look, on platform 3, and all the various lines and different routes. Amazing. That's looking towards Worcester, and you could just about make out down there the depression where the rails went. There, look, can you make it out? You've got the full width here. You've got one side there, other side here, look. Lovely platform edging stones. That's good, more than I expected to see. Peace. I squeezed through the fence, and now we're actually standing above the track bed. We've got platform edging on this side, and a rather magnificent platform edge on that side. Even better now, look. We've crossed to the opposite platform. That's heading towards the bridge, and this is heading away from it. Pan round and see if we can get the other platform edge on that side, whether you can make it out or not. That's probably the shot of the day, I would think. With platform 4 here just in front of you, and the rest of the platforms, including platform 3, just to there. I'm looking now behind the platform edge, just of here, look, the base of the tree. It's the rear of the platform with the blue engineering brick. That's a general look at the rear of the platform. Not a huge amount to see. Back out to civilization. And another couple of lamp standards, look, the base of. Whole group of them here. We're looking at these post bases, aren't we? And I thought they might be lamp posts, but if you look there, that looks quite plain. Whereas if you look there, the supports for the footbridge, and I think that's probably where they came from. So that could be where the flower beds are today. Glorious. Blue engineering brick around this flower bed, and then pretend sleepers around that one. Far end of the platform now, and that's our bridge if you like, and it's been filled in. I don't know if that's to support it or not, but unless it's being compacted, can't see how that works. Curious, we've seen that on a few of these road bridges. Can't think why they do it. Got to be a reason. Platform 4 in happier days. Looking into the undergrowth again, and this is where we see the platform dipping down, denoting the end of this platform. And the bridge is just behind me. Bit of detail on the construction there, look, big old stones. No engineering brick on this side, but there is on that side. Quite substantial coping stones there. Okay, I think we've done all we can in here. We'll have a look about. Again, you can make out the platform dipping down, look, platform end. Right next to the bridge. Right, well we've seen probably all there is to see here. Just one last shot showing the buttressing on the bridge. It's clearly had some work done on it. But a substantial structure nonetheless. This is the entrance today. This was it in 1951. The old station house is still here. Now, what we want to look at next is this photograph. And if you look into the top of the picture, the background, you can see the signal box and you can see there's a bridge. Now, that bridge was a passing loop so that you could get express trains and or freight, mainly freight I think, from Cheltenham to Banbury without interfering with this part of the railway, with this station, and also without stopping. Now I'm going to be very annoying and I'm going to make that part 2. So if you want to know what we found, then watch this space. Meanwhile, if you could subscribe, like or share, that'd be very useful, or just pop across to my channel, Parkinson's Walks. I'll catch you later.